Hello and welcome to Transport Fever. You find me sat looking out over a vast ocean. I say vast ocean, we are actually on the banks of Liverpool. Welcome to the Transpennine map. I have to apologise in advance. The voice that you are hearing, me speaking, will not be matched up with the video. There we go, turning to see Liverpool there. Because like a dingbat, I set the video recording and I had my microphone on mute, and so I came to review it and realised it was a silent video, so apologies for that. So I thought I'd re-narrate over the top of it, but naturally this means it's not going to be as clean cut as it was beforehand. So there you go, you find me looking over Liverpool, Wigan and across to Manchester here. This is the Transpennine map, by the way, which was made by myself. It's my first ever map, so apologies that it's a bit shaky and by no means perfect. The contour lines there, I'm not sure how to get rid of them, but they are there nonetheless. So moving over to the east here, we go all the way over to Hull, Bridlington and Scarborough, as well as Middlesbrough and Newcastle here in the far north. Moving over to the west again, we have Carlisle at the very northbound point of the map, followed by Whitehaven and Harrogate there in the middle, very posh in Harrogate. So yes, that's essentially the Transpennine map. I hope we're going to have a lot of fun with it personally. I mean, this is my local area, the north of England. This is where I was born and bred. Now anyway, I can't remember at what point we do start to construct, but where our first point of construction will be between Liverpool and Manchester. Now I am aware, as far as I'm aware, Liverpool to Manchester was the first railway built in the UK, with George Stephenson and his rocket leading the pioneering railway adventure. And so we're going to copy that. Not copy sounds like we're ripping him off. We're going to replicate that sounds better. Replicate that with a line that goes from Liverpool to Manchester and then over the Pennines up towards Newcastle. That's going to be our key route. We are using the time progression 4 times slower so that the steam era does hang around a little bit longer than it normally does, and we are also using the pork barrel mod. A shout out to Colonel Failure for using that mod in his Metropolis series. There you go, a bit of free advertising there for you, Colonel. And basically, I didn't realise that existed, and it's for if we need a little bit more cash. Because with the 4 times slower mod, of course, you do make a quarter of the profits, and so earlier on in the game, it does take a while for you to get going, so to speak. It appears as now oh, there we go, I've started doing something again. I can't remember what it was. I must have been talking about something very important, naturally. So anyway, this is the Liverpool area. We're going to start by building Liverpool Lime Street Station. Come on, build Liverpool Lime Street. Yes, I made some big grand speech as to how we were going to do this. Come on, get on with it. What's he doing? He must be doing something. Come on. Yes. Well, in that dip there. Oh yes, I'm sorry. At this point, I was apologising for the contour lines and how this was my first map. So please don't tell me the map looks terrible. It will be released on the workshop as soon as I've figured out how to get rid of those contour lines. So anyway, here we go. Liverpool Lime Street. We are rolling. So we're going to have 4 tracks at 200 metres in length, and that is going to be Liverpool Lime Street Station. Now Liverpool's going to be our hub for the moment. We're going to end up putting quite a lot of lines in and out of Liverpool, and we are aiming for realism in this series as opposed to the most profitable. So there we go, Liverpool Lime Street, appropriately named. And then moving over to Manchester here, so Manchester Victoria. Now I'm about to put Manchester Victoria down and then tell you I'm not happy with it. So this that you're watching is a complete waste of time, really, because I do actually end up deleting it. So there we go, put it down, come on. You're not going to be happy with it anyway, so there's no point thinking about it. So there we go, Manchester Victoria. one of the shortest built stations ever. And because then, obviously, I didn't want Piccadilly and Victoria to be too close to each other. And then I didn't want Piccadilly and Stockport to be too close to each other either, which is why a last-minute change of plan had to take place. So anyway, there we go. We're going with 6 tracks at 200 metres in length. This is going to be Manchester Piccadilly. And then we're going to upgrade that, once we've named it, to have the second street connection at the top. Now, I don't tend to use the second street connection on the terminus stations like this, because I like everybody to go through the main building. So there we go, Manchester Piccadilly main station. And then what we're also going to do, in real life, Piccadilly is a terminus, but it does also have 2 tracks, platform 13 and 14, that lead off towards Liverpool and Wales, etc. So we're going to use the Flexible Stations mod to basically recreate that as well. So this is platform 7 and 8 in Transport Fever, as we only have 6 platforms, but in real life this would be platform 13 and 14. So then we can just happily join those up at the top there, and it's almost like Piccadilly. There we go. How fantastic. So there we go. Just getting the curvature right, of course. Excellent. And I've just noticed I've put the wrong type of street to align that up, so I will change that in the next video. Remind me. So that's Manchester Piccadilly Junction, because platform 13 and 14 are known as the Junction. So there we go. That's what we're going to roll with. So just checking that that the Junction station will actually talk to those houses. Excellent. And we're going to put the Manchester tram in here, so that we're not cluttering up the street outside the main station there. We'll put the tram dropping off there, and then at least passengers have access to the junction as well. And to keep it as a nice straight line, we're going to put Victoria just on the end of this road. Nothing too fancy, of course. Just a 4-track station for Victoria, because most of our traffic will actually, well, to be honest, as Manchester's pretty much on the south part of the map, most of our traffic will actually go from Victoria. So why we've put the 6 tracks, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So just putting the crosstown tram line there, which will be appropriately named as the Metrolink, and then 2 stops in there. Fantastic, fantastic. And we're just going to delete this little side road here to make way for the depot. This is progress, after all, and there was no people harmed, or no people's houses harmed in the making of this video. So there we go. There's the depot. We're going to go with pale yellow trams, not that pale, a little bit darker. There we go. Because the Metrolink is yellow, we're going to go with 3 of them. I'm going to have Piccadilly connecting it up. Oh, why is that called Victoria? Why is that called Victoria? I don't know why I'm acting surprised. I've played through all this, because obviously where the old station was, I've changed it to when I put the tram stop in, it's moved across, thinking that that's what we want, and it's not what we want at all. So there we go, Manchester Metrolink 1, connecting Piccadilly and Victoria. So we're just going to have to rename Victoria there, because otherwise people will be getting confused, thinking they can get a train from the tram stop. So we'll just rename that station as Manchester Victoria, not Lower Manchester. Dear God, man. So we're going to rename that. Thank you, autosave. So Manchester Victoria. And then this is going to be Manchester Crown Plaza. There we go. So the house prices in this area have just shot through the roof. This particular house there, just outside the bus stop, sorry, that house there you go. Your house has doubled in value, sir, or madam, for living on Crown Plaza. A very elegant name. Right, so there we go. We've got the trams, we've got Piccadilly, so we are going to focus on constructing the railway in and around the west side of Manchester. So we're going to have that nice and flat so that we don't end up with bumpy junctions. There we go. We'll focus on the tracks on the right hand side later, so I always like to make sure when making a crossover that the speed limit is 30 miles an hour. Don't ask me why, it's just how I like to do it. Maybe it's a little bit of OCD in me that makes that happen. So we will... I mean, it's pretty much so that trains don't come flying into the station at 75 miles an hour. I absolutely hate that, because they take a while to accelerate in Transport Fever, but they don't brake. They don't have enough braking time, in my opinion. If anybody wants to make that as a mod, then please feel free. So we're just going to stick with 40 miles an hour there for the curve. I didn't want to do that. Making it on a gradient, we want it to be flat. 40, there we go, 40. There we go. And that there. And then connecting up Piccadilly, so we're going to have, well, I mean, it can be 75 on this stretch, because this is where the express lines will go. And bob that over there. So that's eventually going to link up with the line that we've just built there, as if you were heading towards Liverpool, as our Carlisle-bound services will go down there to Preston, Wigan, Carlisle and Lancaster, etc. And then this line coming off here, we're just going to put it in now, because why not? At a 30 mile an hour speed limit will be our Warrington line. So that'll go off towards Liverpool as well, but via Warrington Central instead. So we really are going to have quite the network of things going on. I aim to have a huge volume of trains running the line, but obviously I'm not just going to throw trains down for the sake of it. I'm only going to put trains down if there is the demand. But also it's going to be as if there were different companies operating the train lines. So anyway, we'll put a bridge in, make sure it's nice and flat for the sake of it. And we're going to use a 50 mile an hour stone bridge because it looks nice. You know, it's the sort of thing that people, the sort of thing you'd see in Manchester. Now this is, of course, the Odsal curve, which for those of you who are familiar with Manchester will say the Odsal curve has only actually just been finalised in early 2018, late 2017, early 2018. So why are you putting the Odsal curve in 1850? And to be honest with you, it's because I can, because they should have put that in all that time ago, but for some reason they didn't. So obviously hindsight is a wonderful thing, so I'm using that now. So that's the Liverpool line. We'll just put that on there so we don't forget about it. And, well, off we go. Follow the contours, make a gradient. There you go. Down to there. That's brilliant. Fantastic. And then we need a little bit on the end there. A little bit of flat so that we can join up the line to Piccadilly. There we go. We'll keep that at a nice 75 mile an hour speed limit. We're well out of the city now. So we don't need speed restrictions. So that's going to take it down to 69. Sorry, so immature. 69 miles an hour and 70 mile an hour on the larger radius curve. So that's a fairly decent speed limit. And there we go. Basically now, all we need to do is connect that to Liverpool. So we're going to put a bit of track in here through the middle of a forest, because, I mean, this is 1850. What the heck is deforestation? Yeah, we like that. It's a positive thing in the 1850s. And then it's about this point where I realise, oh, hang on, we need to do Liverpool. There we go. So we're going to do Liverpool. So the two tracks on the left are going to be our Manchester Victoria and Preston bound services. We're going to have a 60 mile an hour there. And then the two tracks on the right are going to be for our Warrington and Manchester Piccadilly and Sheffield bound services, currently operated by Northern Rail, Transpennine Express and East Midlands Trains. So we're going to stick to our 30 mile an hour speed limits there. There we go, 30 and 30, the crossover. Oh, that's not what we want to do. Ah, there we go, engine shed and depot. So I like this engine shed. I mean, Liverpool's going to be our main hub station, as I say, for the first few episodes at least. So yes, very exciting. So the track on the left, as it's got two holes, two doors on the front of the depot, two bays, two tracks, however you wish to say it. We can have one going to the left-hand side of the station and one going to the right. And it all just works out. So we're going to have that coming across there. I tell you, we're making a real go of this, definitely. And it's put the track down the side there, only to realise that if you look at the front of the depot where the doors for the trains to come out at, that's the entrance for the workers as well. It's in between the two doors. Now, I know that sounds really sad, but if you look round the outside of the depot, there's nowhere else for them to get in. And as we're focusing on realism, then obviously we will create a little path for them to get in, maybe put some cars in later, as if the workers were parked up at the depot. All good stuff to come, I tell you. Now, why is that not working? It's not good. We've been playing for a whole 15 minutes nearly, and we've already got construction not possible. I'm sure that's going to crop up many times throughout the game, as well as collision, and terrain alignment. All some of our favourite things there. So then we'll build that across there, so that the trains can get to the far platform. There we go. Too much curvature, naturally. So we're going to put that crossover there. 30 mile an hour speed limit there. 30 mile an hour. Come on. Bit further. Excellent. And I don't know why I'm getting enthusiastic about that, because we're only going to end up deleting it again, because it, for some reason, is colliding. If you look at where we're actually building and the bit that it's saying it's colliding with, I think it's just playing the fiddle with me there. Just trying to get one over on me. Look at that. Collision. It's nowhere near it. But anyway, so we need to just delete our lovely bit of handiwork there. And then the worst part is that once we put that in, 30 mile an hour, of course, keeping it real, people, keeping it real, it actually lets us put the exact same curve back in. Which I think the game was just messing with me at that point, thinking, they're going to make it hard for you there, mate. So there we go. The two right-hand side will go off towards Warrington. The two left-hand side will go off towards Manchester, Victoria, Preston, and maybe somewhere else if we do bob some fictitious lines in. Anyway, as it's a British and English map, then we're going to use semaphore signalling and left-hand drive vehicles. Now, obviously, on the road, that's not possible. Again, anybody that wishes to mod that, you have my approval, you have my seal of approval when it comes to that. But yes, we'll stick with the semaphore signals there. And you built the wrong one there. Go back and change it. There we go. So that's to clip to the left-hand track, and then just match that up, and we're pretty much good to go. I mean, we've got the west side of Manchester done. We've got Liverpool. Well, we've got the outline of Liverpool as to what we're going to do. So there we go. Is the Metrolink making money? No, it is not. So back over to Liverpool there. So we'll have a large bus station. A large bus station, I said. There we go. And that's going to do us for Liverpool. We're also going to have 3 lines, because I believe that everybody should be connected to the new train station. Everybody should be allowed to use it. So we'll just run this road out parallel with the railway. Then it gives us a chance to connect our depot up later, and we'll bob that in there. So anyway, bus station up here, running out of money rapidly. A feature that often happens in my games. Oh no, run out. Quick, borrow, loan. And to be honest with you, I was saying before I was so rudely cut off by muting the microphone, that I was actually rather impressed that I hadn't had to use any pork barrels up until now. I thought, with us constructing Manchester, that would have happened straight away, but alas not. So anyway, there we go. We've got 2 lines set up there, which of course we can extend later on. And then we're going to run our 3rd line up by the side of the train line and across there. So at least there's a bit of variation. So there we go. Line 1 to our starting point, the beach in Liverpool. And we're going to have it as a turquoise aquamarine colour, as Arriva is based in Liverpool. Well, Arriva's not based in Liverpool, that's a lie. That's a barefaced lie there. But Liverpool buses are operated by Arriva, or a lot of them are. So we're going to stick with that theme that I mentioned earlier, and get our vehicles to be that turquoisey colour in Liverpool. See, everybody thought that Arriva was formed just after privatisation with Cowie Group. There you go, if you didn't know that. But no, it wasn't. It was formed in the 1850s with horse and carriage. This is a real version of what happened, people, not the version that people would have you believe. So anyway, put a depot in. Come on, let's get some buses running. You're facing the wrong way there. Spin it round. Excellent, excellent. And it's all going well so far. Let's get some stagecoaches in. Ironic stagecoaches, not stagecoach, Arriva. So get them on bus 1, and 2 for bus 2, and 2 for bus 3. Smashing. Aren't they pretty? In Arriva's corporate livery there. Very elegant indeed. So anyway, that just ensures that we've got a wide connection. Everybody in Liverpool has access to our stations. Now, bus route 3 there, that one at the top by the depot, will eventually extend onto Liverpool South Parkway. But as we've not built Liverpool South Parkway yet, we're not going to do that yet. So anyway, we're using dark blue for our railway line. Oh, what's happened there then? You've not put a one-way signal in there, except you have, so check the other end. There we go. Yeah, what a dingbat. Sorry, it's not going very well today, is it? I should really prepare more. So there we go. Anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by myself, we're using a dark blue and the National Rail abbreviations. This will be the Transpennine Liverpool to Newcastle route. So TP Liverpool dash Manchester. So not Liverpool to Newcastle, because obviously it doesn't go there yet. And I mean, we could pork barrel the hell out of it. But we're not going to, because that would be unrealistic. We only really want to use pork barrels when we absolutely have to. Anyway, there we go. We're more or less good to go. Let's get a train running. So into the depot by trains. It has to be said, we haven't got a fantastic selection. Well, it is 1850, there is only one, so we're going to buy that one. We're going to use dark blue locomotives with silver carriages. Many of you would believe that that was grey, but alas not. It's silver because that sounds more luxurious. And we'll have 2 of those, set them both on the Liverpool to Manchester. Now, as our signals, as we've only got one signal at each end, then they're going to evenly space themselves out. So there we are, our pioneering train, train 1. Off it goes. Oh, we've had a collision already. Oh, you've shut the doors on our locomotive. Get them opened up. We'll make sure somebody's sacked for that mistake, let me tell you. Anyway, there we go, our pioneering train setting off to Liverpool. Now, obviously, when we spin the camera around, you're going to see the hordes waiting. Oh no, there's nobody waiting at all. Ah, well, that's a letdown. Did nobody tell them that there was a new train running today? Like the first train ever in human history? Well, evidently not. And that's something that I do miss about Transport Tycoon Deluxe and Chris Sawyer's Locomotion. It was always nice to see the newspaper articles saying that citizens were celebrating, which unfortunately you don't get. They're rather a hard bunch to please on Transport Fever. They're all rather miserable. So anyway, off we go. Bon voyage. Oh no, we're not a ship, are we? Oh no, bon voyage is French for good journey, I'm sure it is. So yes, bon voyage, and off we go. Now this is technically a high-speed rail link, really. Well, it's the only rail link, but this is high speed, 25 mile an hour. It's unheard of in the 1850s. So there we go, full steam ahead. And the other one just there, which is obviously going to have to wait for us to clear the signal by Manchester. So there we go, our first train. So hopefully that has basically set out what we're going to aim to do in this series. I do hope that you do subscribe, you do follow us. Follow us, as if there's more than one of me. Follow my YouTube, just so that obviously you don't miss out on any of this fantastic edge of the seat stuff here. So we're well on the way. As I say, we will do some smoothing out of those horrendous contour lines. As I say, it is my first map, so don't absolutely tear me a new one there with respect to that. So just heading over, we've got the west side of Manchester done. I mean, to be honest with you, we're hoping that Manchester as a city will extend under that railway bridge, so that, I mean, doesn't that look pretty? Very pretty indeed. It's an engineering marvel, really, when you think of it. So anyway, the Manchester area, we're then going to extend up to Stockport, Stalybridge and Rochdale, the three towns at the top of the screen, and hopefully that should be a real activity hub when it comes to our trains. There we go, just pointing out to you there where that is. And then eventually we will extend over the Pennines, Stalybridge, Huddersfield, Dewsbury, Leeds, and the Calder Valley line round Rochdale, Todmorden and Hebden Bridge. So this whole area to the west of the Pennines, Wigan, what's that place there, Bolton, Warrington, etc. It's going to be a real hive of activity. So if that's not a good enough reason to continue to subscribe, then I don't know what is. So the industry as well, I had forgotten about that. I hadn't put industry on this map, but we are going to put the industry on as we go. Now one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to put the industries next to each other so that it's really easy to make a load of money. I am actually going to focus on putting the industries across the Pennines from each other so that we can really make the use of the goods trains, really get some proper long goods trains running there. And because obviously that's more of a challenge, so just seeing how our pioneering train is doing there, fantastic, full steam ahead. We're really doing well there, folks. Obviously carrying nobody. You'd think the one in real life would have had a few more people on, but this one doesn't. They're obviously not interested that they can now go to Manchester. But anyway, nevertheless. So anyway, that's pretty much all it is for now, so please do slap this video across the face with one of your finest likes, that would be very much appreciated. Do subscribe so you don't miss out on any future action, and fingers crossed I will see you next time. Goodbye for now.